Hello everybody. How is everybody doing today? Thanks for the follow, Luhart. Hello Vinny, hello Mr. Nike guy. Hello Ayo Damiano, hello Huatabitse, and hello Litros. I'm sorry for butchering your names. Let me know if I did something horrible. Did my tweet go out? Yeah, okay, cool. What are we doing today? I think for starters, maybe like a dark mode friendly invoice. Just so that it's nicer for streams. How is everyone doing? Let's copy this thing. Let's move it to here. I don't have these yet. Maybe let's start from basically from scratch. Design a Let me double check if everything is working because it feels so quiet in here. Okay, I should be live. Yeah, so what this is about. So basically I'm building a little invoicing system. And the idea is that we can create invoices with React and Tailwind. And we can generate, hello Miguel, and we can generate PDFs from the invoices. Hello Alex. There are some cool features like these items are like calculated based on the available width. So currently we have like 10 items, but they won't fit on one page. So we put them on 2 pages. Hello Estranged and Estranged HD. Good evening, good evening. And then we also have an admin section where it's pretty empty right now. Hello Mew. And it's also pretty ugly for now. But basically you will be able to edit certain things. Look at my first. Yeah, you have a founder's badge. Congratulations. And we can preview the PDF in here while editing. Good stuff, good stuff. But we will be working on this page later. Let me also make sure that I am on transparency mode so that I can hear myself. Sheesh. So yeah, it's just a fun project to work on. I'll probably do some more. Thanks for the sub, Miguel. Hello, Jasper. Just subscribed. Nice. Thank you very much. So yeah, basically when we download the PDF right now. Hello, Davey. We have a pretty empty one. But I think for streams it would be nice so that we can have a dark mode. So that you don't have to see this flashbang. Where is the table from the other day where you could edit in it? Oh yeah, we have it here. I wasn't so happy with it, with the current implementation, and I have to update these for sure, but it's still here, technically. Here's the table down here. All right. Invoice C. BG gray 900. Okay, that's pretty dark already. Blue. Hello Badosh. How are you doing? How is everybody doing today? Hello Rimy Jones. Sorry for butchering your name. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Done with most of my finals. Nice. Finals. Those were the days. JSON stringify. I don't even have to stringify this stuff. Because we have TypeScript, but oh well. I might need to put some text white on here. And I hope I don't dox myself. Okay, good. Nice. Nice. Working on the event sourcing this stream. Not yet, I think. Maybe. I will be doing a dark invoice first, and then we might set up some databases and stuff for actual editing and storing and stuff, and that might involve event sourcing. Hello, Sleepy. Or I mean, hello, Arpen. I think that's what you preferred. Hello. All right. So if we go back to, should we make this dark, just this dark? Because I also have a second design which is more print friendly, but it's very white-ish. So maybe what I'll do is take this one and make this one dark. Let's do that. Let's delete this thing, sure. Let's copy this one. I've got 3 more weeks of internship and then I'm done with everything. Nice, everybody's doing great stuff. Welcome to the real world soon. Okay, this is C, I think. C? Should be C, yeah. This one is C. So BG white is gonna be BG gray 900. This is pretty unreadable, but that's okay. Okay, that's fair. Oh, hello Ziggy, I missed you. I missed your chat. I should find a better way to set up all of these things. Oh, also, if you were here... Oh, hello Trash. Let's, for sure. I set up like a hook for my invoice pagination. So basically you provided the invoice items, and then it will split it up based on the available content, and we also give back this content component just so that you don't have to do the logic all the time. Also, Robin streaming the same time as Prime had to make it. Oh, is Prime streaming? Let's see who's streaming as well. He is. Oh no, and Instafluff and Soding. So many. Yikes. Let me keep an eye on science and tech. Just in case, just in case. All right. Show the hook code. Okay. So basically what's happening is we have our per page stuff. Whenever we change the list, we reset the initial pages. So don't know if you remember, but basically this looks like every item in here is a page, and then every value is the amount of items per page. So whenever we change the list, we reset everything so that we can redo the calculations. This is basically what we had for actually splitting. So this is basically chunking it, the initial list based on those per page values. And then we have our component in here, which is basically this logic that we had the other day, where we, if there was not enough room, then we wanted to resize, and resizing means subtract one, like the last item from the current page, move it to the next page. This is moving to the next page, and this is basically making sure that the next page exists, because by default it won't exist, and then you will do current plus one, which is going to be undefined from this clone, and then undefined plus one is going to be another number, so that's going to be bad. And then here we have the little fit content components, where we basically say if we have an element, get the client height and the scroll height, and if the scroll height is bigger, then it means that there's not enough room, otherwise you won't have a scroll bar, and then we call the onResize. That's basically that one. I also have like a small function for grouping the VAT stuff that's also extracted. Another thing I did is I set up these tildes so that I could reference everything from the root instead of going up, up, up with all those dots like this. That's changed now as well. Anything else that's interesting? Oh, another interesting thing I did is when we change this back to white, whenever I change data, and now I have to make sure that I don't dox myself. So let's go here, and let's say we have 8. Then, is this not updating? Oh, yeah. So I have a little component that flashes the content that actually changed. So, for example, when we go here and we say 3, it's gonna be a string. Doesn't this have a flashing component? Oh, the others are flashing, so there's that. This is probably because of my big heading, and my big heading, it has an attention flash component. It should be flashing. Interesting. Oh, it is flashing. Okay, not sure what was going on over there. But this is a funny component. It's gonna be useful once we are like live editing items. Then you can see the preview updates. Okay, design C, invoice, BG Gray 900. Hello, Mr. Demon Wolf. Oh, talking about Mr. Demon Wolf, let's go into the admin and look at Mr. Demon Wolf. There he is. Also, let me do this, and let me do this for my shout out to my fellow streamers, all the streamers. Oh, okay, I forgot someone. Who did I forget? Shout out to Mr. Demon Wolf. But you have like a special displays on my admin panel, so there's that. Okay, this is pretty ugly for now, so where do we have blue? Shall we change blues? Oh, I have an idea, Let's change blue with pink. Okay, that did something. Do you like pink trash? No, it's not. I'm still doing the invoice system, but it's not the next update for Tailwind UI. Thanks for the follow, Agent de Saint-Qui. Is that how you pronounce it? De Saint-Qui? Something like that. It sounds French. So we have some grays in here. What are the grays? Gray, let's replace those with $400 maybe. Reread refactoring UI rubbing. Ooh, nice. How are you liking that book? I enjoyed it. Hello, 4-line code. How are you doing? Heyo. Let's go. I was doing some research the other day, or like this morning, before work, for like a streaming computer and stuff, so that I could enable the drop game again. But it's gonna be interesting. Because right now my computer is dying whenever I do a drop game. So that's no bueno. So what else is important in here? Let me get something nicer on the screen, otherwise people are gonna leave. Most expensive drop game. Indeed. I am doing great. It's been sunny today, so that's good. Blue, change it with pink. Everywhere. Okay, that's doing something. Let's change the grays. This one can be pink as well. And then those should be those lines, I think. And then all of these should become text gray, I don't know, 200 maybe, 300. That might be a bit too much. Text gray 400. That's a bit smoother. That's a bit better. Where else do I have gray? Gray 900. That's thanks for the sub, Mr. Nike guy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, why are my divide lines not pink? Or are they pink? They might be pink. Are they pink? Make them pink. Give me pink. Give me pink. Oh, there is pink. It's hurting my eyes already, which is nice. You know what? I think this is fine. And I just realized that we forgot a few places in the big heading, because our text in here is basically gone. Where is that located? In here? Text gray 300. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. This one. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Text gray, what did I say, 200? Yep, there we go. I feel like this pink is a bit too dark. So let's make it a little bit more flashy. Just a little bit. Making a dark mode or just complete color over? No, basically creating a dark mode just so that it's not as bad for the stream. Instead of doing this might be too flashy. And then I have another design where it's even more flashier. It's pure white with blue text. So doing another one that is just a bit nicer. Just a little bit. Big heading. Big heading. Where are you? Okay, here you are. And then we have this text should be 700 as well. Maybe I can do this instead. Text ping 700 up here. Delete these. Ping 900. Let's get rid of this one. That should do something. Oh, this is just a header. Okay. Nope, I made it 700. Hello, Kappa. How can I disable colors for the chat? Is that an option? I wonder if that's an option. I don't see it immediately. Oh well. Okay, so big footer in design C. Blue is gonna be blue, pink, everywhere. It's not for printing. It's, you know, you can send invoices that are PDFs and you don't have to print them. BG Pink 900. What is this about? Oh, I don't even use this. Oh, I do use this. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Yeah. Well, that's the reason why I have the other pages that I will actually use, but these are just for streams, so that I can basically, when I go to my admin page, I have an invoice here. Let's change this one to C already. Once we work on this UI, we can preview like the dark version. So whenever we do invoice number in 2020-001 preview, we get a live preview. But now it's just pretty ugly. Pretty ugly. Yeah, I played around with some of it. I was looking for interesting content to stream, and then I basically gave up and just started streaming. Pink. Where am I? I need to be in the big footer. Big footer. Yes. Hey Robin, it's Charlie. Spoke prior mainly in Tailwind UI. Do you have the preview already on the page, updating when fields are set, or is it dynamically added? What do you mean exactly? Like when you add new items that it's recalculates? Or do you have the preview already on the page updating when? Yeah, so if you, so I have a preview, not this thing, god damn it. I have a preview button. Look how this number says invoice 94. If we make this invoice potato, because that's a valid invoice number, it's now potato. So this is updating. If we have like a new item and a few more, this UI is so broken right now. Okay, preview. Now we have our new ASDF items, and it's also created a new page. Best invoice number. Yes. Hello, this is PDF number potato. So the preview code is technically still in the DOM. Everything is in the DOM. Yeah, it makes new pages. It calculates based on the available space, which is good. Hello, 1000. Let's go back here. And what I actually want to do as well before I forget is go to my fixtures. Whoa, what happened here? Save. Do your thing. Okay, good. We're good. We are good. 3 items, let's say 8 items. So that we have multiple pages in here as well. Otherwise I will forget to update these things. Pretty sure. Invoice C. Oh, it's design C. And then I was working on big footer. Yep, this is the one. Because this is really pink. Really pink. Hello, Chate. Thanks for the follow, Weasley. Good evening. Hello, welcome. Texts. Text Excel, text MD. This is all the text in here. Okay, fine. Thanks for the follow, Menka. Okay, welcome. Small heading. Blue, pink. Okay, and then I think 900 should be 700. Let's get all the pink in here. Thanks for the follow to why. Hello. That's what I wasn't sure if the preview was added to the DOM for the time you click that preview button, or if it always exists but just hit. Oh, no. So it's okay. I see what you mean now. So I'm using a slide over component which is built with the headless UI components, a dialog component from headless UI, and by default it will unmount everything instead of hiding. So this is whenever I click the preview button, this is mounted. I can change that behavior. I have a little slide over component with a few sizes, a few props. But here I basically have I can do something fun here. I can get rid of this. Yes, I can get rid of this. Good. npm install headless UI react def. You are amazing. Thank you very much. So now when we refresh this should be fine. It should be fine, but it's not. Let me restart this thing. Yeah, exactly. And then we also use the what is this called, transition component, so that the transitions work as expected. Why is this not working? I'm pretty sure it's not working. When in doubt, rmrf your next folder. Let's boot it, let's boot it, let's boot it. Because one of the things we did in Headless UI is basically removed all of the all the components can communicate between each other, so the transition route and dialog and menus can all communicate via a shared context, so that if you are tree shaking, you only require like that one single context. See, here we go, here we go. Robin, in any time when we any need about yeah, sure, if you have questions, if I can help you with something, let me know, let me know. So basically, can I prove this to you that, okay, so all these are for my attention fleshy components, but you will notice that an additional div will pop up here once we start previewing. Here's the additional div with all the items, all the divs. And then whenever you, can't I click outside of this? That's interesting. What is going on? Oh. So when it's closed, this is now removed. We can change that behavior, of course. Are you also making a summary dashboard with number invoice? Yeah. We will do all of that. We will do all of that. We will do everything. Let me quickly make this a little bit, just a little bit better. I feel like this is in small footer, some blues, change them blues. How important is it to learn about parent-child React DOM stuff? I feel like I haven't run into cases where I felt the need to use it. What do you mean with, do you mean like communicating between components, deeply nested, or do you mean context, or is there anything specific? Yeah, that's indeed true. So when I go back to, okay, first, let me finish up these stupid blue lines. They are in design C invoice itself, I think. This is gonna be pink. That's gonna be this line. Oh, that's this small line, and then we have another blue. This is gonna be pink, pink, and that's this line. So now everything is pink. The subtotal, these are pretty ugly. So let me make sure to text gray 300 or something. What are you using for file navigation in VS Code? I'm not using VS Code. This is Vim. Oh, I have text gray 500 up here. Let's drop them. It's Vim. I'm sorry. What plugin are you using to find files in Vim? I'm using currently FCF. But I also have Telescope installed. But you can find my dot files on GitHub, on the GitHubs. Okay, so we have also text gray 500. I want to make these. I can drop these. Yep. I can drop these and I put it up. Put it up here, text gray 300. Hello, pizza in the oven. VS Code. Nope, no VS Code. Thanks for the follow, Gow Duties. Okay, so this is now still bad, but better. Hello, Codico. How are you doing? So what was the other thing I wanted to show? Oh, I remember. When we go to our admin panel, the preview will only be added once. Can I move this to the bottom? So now it's here, and when I close, it's gonna be gone once it transitioned out. So what I can do in my slide over component is basically on my transition, I can say unmount false. Thanks for the gifts up pizza in the oven to Codico. Also, let me do a quick shout out to fellow streamer Codico and a shout out to Pizza in the Oven. Let's go. So now we already have this div in here, which is now gonna get filled. And then when we close, the div is still gonna be there. So this is the div for the transition route, but we can also do this for the dialog itself. I most of the time recommend you just to use default behavior and don't keep it in the DOM, but it can be useful in cases where, so now here you can see our full dialog, everything is in here. It can be useful if you have like form data in here, and if your form data is not synced to some states, and you are unmounting and remounting, then you can basically lose information that you don't want to lose. So that's how you can control it in Headless UI. What are those emotes? Oh, hello. Okay, so this is looking weird with the blue, but okay. Is this a what are you using to convert it into a PDF? I'm using Puppeteer behind the scenes. So basically when we go to this one, download the PDF. Preparing to download, generate PDF, here it is. It takes a while just because, oh, this is looking pretty cool. This is looking pretty cool. I'm using Puppeteer, so I have a generate PDF file. So basically what I do is I give it a file name and I want to download the generated PDF. Downloading is basically setting some headers so that the browser knows how to handle this and what file to give it, and then you send the raw data, and the raw data is basically coming from this function, generate PDF. We basically boot the browser in Puppeteer, we make a new page, we go to the URL, we wait 3 seconds because reasons, and then we use the built-in PDF function from Puppeteer, making sure that the background is printed, otherwise you don't get the blue at the top for my normal PDFs, and you also don't get the dark one we currently have. Then we close the browser because we now have a buffer with some data, which is just an array of numbers, and then we return that, and then it can be downloaded. And then there's an additional part where we have a page, and the page has a page break after always. This is like the newer variant for modern browsers. And basically what this will do is making sure that every time you have a page element, that there is like a page break. Otherwise you could have like slight overlap. We can actually demonstrate this. Let me demonstrate this. Let's go into our fixtures of, also, isn't this nice? I have fixtures and I say I should not dox myself. That's pretty big brain, I must admit. Hello Recep, how are you doing? How are you doing? So now we have a very big one with a few pages. Let's download this one. Let's download this one. So one thing you will notice is once I start scrolling, will you be able to notice? Oh yeah, you can see the big white line down here. That's because there's like no proper page break, and the more pages you have, the bigger this line becomes. So it's pretty annoying. So if you re-enable this, and then we regenerate this, what plugin shows that pop-up when performing file navigation? This thing, it's FCF. You can find it in my dot files. Dot files, and then look for FCF in my init.vim. I think it is. Let me see. Init vim FCF. Yeah, FCF. There you can find all the goodies. So now when we have this new PDF, you will notice that we don't have like a big line down here. Here is the big one, here is no big one. This is just a few annoying rendering artifact as well. Flashy. I don't even know if you can see it on stream. Kind of funny that I found this stream because we basically do the same thing at work, PDFs in React. Mine is the Puppeteer part, print CSS is horrible to deal with. Yeah, I basically, I might just cheat, but the only thing I have for printing is I have a page that's hard-coded to A4 page size. And then for printing itself, I have this setup. That's not what I wanted to do. I got lost. Oh, I don't need this anymore. I do need this. Why can't I? Nice. I'm gonna quit my amethyst. Restart the bad boy. Oh, I see what's happening. Nice. It's totally broken. This is not the thing I want. Preferences. Layouts. I want tall layout. Give me tall layout. Where is my shortcut to do? Where is it? Is it this one? I want them side by side. How do I do that again? Pretty sure there's a command for this. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So yeah, this is all the print stuff I have in here. So you do this at work as well. Interesting. Interesting. Do you do it for general PDFs or? Yeah, I was using this. If you have multiple of those, you can move a few to the main spot, let's say. And for some reason it was broken, but I'm not sure why. Thanks for the follow, Tifu H. Welcome. So what kind of PDF do you generate, Mancow19? It's like invoices as well. Do you do the fancy? Do you have some fancy algorithm to split these? Okay, what should we do that next? Yeah, I don't know, were you here at my previous streams? Like fitting content and moving items around? That makes sense. That makes sense. This is pretty wide. I'm so warm in here, yikes. Okay, so what should we do? Should I do a poll? I should do a poll. I have an idea. How does one do a poll? Manage poll. Yes. Create new poll. Okay, what should we do? What should we work on next? Improve design of actual invoice. Of invoice. Start working on event sourcing setup for backends. I can't type everything in there. That's interesting. What else should we do? Work on admin sites. Work on dashboard. Okay. I created a little poll. You should be able to. Okay. What does everybody want me to do? I came well prepared. So the event sourcing setup is basically what I will use for a backend architecture. Okay, people are interested in event sourcing, apparently. Interesting. Okay, event sourcing setup it is. I'm going to start with Table Plus, and I'm going to do the following. Database. Do I already have a database for this invoice system? I do. Ooh, Tailwind UI, interesting. And I'm going to call this invoice.space. And I'm going to call the other one dashboard. I'll do a setup first, and then maybe another stream we can do dashboard. Invoice space dash event store. Sure. Ooh, this annoys me. Can I rename this? Yeah. Table Plus doesn't support oh, God. Invoice.space event store. Okay. Let's remove this thing. Enter the. Okay. This is not the one I wanted. I wanted to open this one, close this one, and also open this one. Invoice space event store invoice.space. Okay, cool. Both empty. I will need Next.js. I will need Next.js. npm install. Is it just Next? Install Knex, and install MySQL. Sure. Let's see. Okay, we have this thing. I will need a database, And is there like a quick setup that I can copy? Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Connection maybe? Connection.ts. Let's always use let. Connects, import connects from connects. And then db is gonna be connects like this. And let's export this. User, what is my user? I have no idea. Let me check what my secret C. Ooh, let's go. Okay. Always use let. How triggering. There we go. So I'm going into my other project real quick, just to see what my credentials are, because I don't want to leak them on stream. Might be fine actually. Connectsfile.ts. Oh, is this how I set it up? Ooh, okay. I will steal this. And then I have a domain and a DB and a connection. Okay. Good. User admin, password admin, easy. Yeah, actually it's even better. It's root and password. That's even better. I think nothing is really private in here, so let me go back to here. Ah, beautiful. Here's another project of mine. I have to be careful here because there's real data in this project. But basically I want this thing. Where is my invoice space here? Let's do it like this. And I need... Wait, what? Cannot use namespace connects as a type? Why not? I want to. Thanks for the subscription, Alexander Bloom. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I need a connects file. Connectsfile.ts, and let's copy it from here. Connects file. Wait, did I do something stupid again? Okay, no. It's fine. This is my Connects file. Can I get Tailwind support here? If you have a question, then you can ask away. I only wear Lacoste for 100 sub gifts. What? What is going on? How do I use the marker pseudo element with Tailwind? Too expensive. The marker element too expensive? You can basically write a custom CSS. If you want to use the marker one. Oh. 100 gift. I see. I see what you all are talking about. Connects config. Don't I have namespace? What is going on? Oh, do I have to? Okay. npm install types connects. Is that how you do it? Types connects deprecated. Okay, let's remove it again. npm uninstall types connects. Database invoice system event store. This is gonna be invoice.space event store. I don't have migrations just yet. And this is gonna be invoice.space. Okay, so here it's just basically a map from connections. Where is my TypeScript? Oh, here it is. Connection config map. That's gonna be better. I feel like I want to do this though. Weird stuff. Weird stuff. What was this again? Config. It's been a while since I used Knex. Knex. What does it give me? Namespace, Knex timeouts. Knex.config. Yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want. Should be fine. What else do I need? I'm going to need my own package. 0 downloads. That's interesting. Now let's make it 1. If I can type my own name, that would be interesting, huh? npm install royal alpha event source. Good, good, good. Let's set up a domain. But not like this. What else do I need? Domain, DB, clients, connections, store. I do want this. Store.ts. Sure. What is this telling me? Thanks for the follow, Joa OPMS. Hey Robin, thanks for the help yesterday. You're welcome. Oh, it was the flex ends one. I remember. All right, so we have our database events. We have an event ID. We have an event name. This is gonna be something like, so event ID is gonna be a UID. Event name is gonna be something like invoice has been initialized, invoice has been sent, something like that. Recorded, that's gonna be a date. Aggregate ID is gonna be a UID for an invoice, and payload is gonna be data. Then we have some mapping going on because database, I like to store them as camel case. In that, like camel case in JS and snake case in the database. So I have a little conversion layer down here, and then I have this little layer for communicating with, is Tailwind Labs your full-time job? It is. I'm a full-time employee of Tailwind Labs. So this is basically where I interact with my database for my event store, where I can load all the events, load a single event, or persist events. And then I also have to make sure that I map them in the correct places. So this will be mapped to the DB, and this will be mapped from the DB. And then we get, do I get code completion or TypeScript hints? Give me hints, give me hints. I want hints. Next is declare, but its value is never read. Should I do this maybe? Did they change this behavior? Okay, TypeScript. Oh, here it is. What are you telling me to do? of TypeScript. Declare module connects types tables. Sorry. I have an idea how I can get the config though, but it's not nice. So what I can do, connects is a function, right? It's a function, and the first param is gonna be the config or a string. So what we will be able to do is config is gonna be little TypeScript help here, the parameters of the type of connects, and this will give me a list of params, and the first one is gonna be the config, yes, and then we don't want a string, so I think I can do something like can I omit strings? Is this how you do it? No? I'm actually surprised that we can't get access to the connects config. Where is it defined? Export interface connects. Oh. Is it like this maybe? Okay, I see, I see. This is better. Yeah, exclude. That's the one I was looking for. That's the one I was looking for. Thank you. Thank you, Naini. Sorry for butchering your name. Where else did we use this connect thing in our database? Connection. Yes. Cannot find module connects or its type declarations. Blah -di -da -di -da. Oh, this one is gonna be. This is funky. Connects lowercase because this is the actual function. Thanks for the follow, Ronaldo, and thanks for the follow, Zizi. I'm sorry for Pior ZZZZZZ. I'm so sorry. How did you custom title in the gutter? Do you mean this little X up here for my? Do you mean that one, the little X, or do you mean something else? Yeah, so I have it configured in my dot files. So let me help you find it. I'm just going to open them here, and I think it's in NeoVim COC settings. Yeah, it's these. There you can find them. Yeah, I'm using COC currently. Not yet on the NeoVim LSP train. Not yet. I think I can do this, right? Connects file. Config map. Export connections. We have a cache. You're welcome. We have a cache. Okay. Now I need my event store and migrations. Yep, and I'm going to steal it from here. Migrations, event store. Ooh, I have this great table utility. That's a fun one. And I also have history identifier. Interesting. Okay. Let me take this one and take this one. And this is just create events table.js. Can't I do TS files? Create events table.ts. Should I be able to do that? Let's add the utils. And what did we call this? Create table.ts. Oh, that's not the one. This is the one. Export create table. Table is gonna be a string. Callback is gonna be callback. Is it gonna be anything special? Just a function maybe. Connect is gonna be a connects object. This is gonna be a connects object. Import connect from module connects. Sure. What does create table want? This thing. Can I do connects.create table builder? Nice, that works. That works. Then we have our table. Let's double check everything in here that this is correct. Okay, this is not correct for sure. Let me import this thing. So we want to create an events table and we get a table out. So we should get code completion. We do, nice. I want an ID. I want an aggregate ID. I want an event ID, event name, payload version, and recorded at. I think that's about everything. So this ID. Okay, so this is basically what's happening. Let me do it here, here. Yeah. So this ID is just a number, how you usually have it in the database, auto incrementing. Then this one is an ID that's gonna identify the actual event. It's similar to this one. Actually, I could get rid of this, but I like to keep that one just so that I can sort them as well, while still using UID v-force, version force for these. The event name is going to be like invoice has been initialized. Payload is going to be JSON. The aggregate is going to be the ID for the aggregate. So in our case, this probably will be like a user ID or an invoice ID. Then the version is going to be, if you are interested in like a very quick what is event sourcing, please let me know. Otherwise, this might not make sense at all. But maybe I can just do it anyway for people that don't know it. So the idea is that in event sourcing, I'm going to give a very short TLDR. So how you usually store data in your database is by you have a users table and you get like user 1, John Doe, registered at 2020, what is it, 5th of 5/5. So this is your users table, and whenever John wants to change his name to Jane, you basically just update this row. That's basically what you do. Sometimes you also have like an updated add timestamp in here, 05, 06 maybe, and you also have like an email address, john@example.com, and then John updated his name to Jane, and the updated timestamp at the end has also been updated. And next time he updates the email address to jane@example.com, and this one will also update. So that's how you usually do it, right? You just update current state. What is the issue with this is you look at this and you basically already lost information. You don't know that Jane used to be John. You don't know when everything changed. You know that the last change happened this date, but you don't know if what changed. You don't know if the name changed. You don't know if the email address changed. You don't know anything. You only know what the last changed time was. So with event sourcing, what you will do is you basically store events. You will store something like in the sense, like if you talk about users, you could say something, user was registered, user changed name, user name has been changed, email has been changed. So what will happen is these are 3 events, so they will be 3 items in this table. What ID is he writing this migration in? It's Vim, it's NeoVim. Thank you for the command. So we have a table of events. These events are basically these 3 events. An ID is just going to be a normal ID. Event ID is each of these will have a UUID. So let's add a UUID. Can I not? If I you get the point, UID, okay. And then the payload is gonna be, in this case, the full user object. In this case, the name to Jane Doe. In this case, the email to jane@example.com. And then what else? We have an aggregate ID. So these 3 events all happen on the same user object. So this will have like aggregate ID of, it's a UID, but let's call it user 123, 123, 123. Then we have a version, and the version is basically, this is the first version of the object. This is going to be 1 or 0. This one is going to be the second one. This is going to be the third one. And then the recorded at is just whenever these events happen. And now you basically never lost data. It's always append only. So it's basically audit log or some sort. Yeah, yeah, you get like an audit log for free. That's very true. So what will happen is you will record all of these events, and then we have projections, and these will basically project them into like a current state database, which is something like this. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting architecture. You get like an audit log for free. You can. One of the fun parts is that with all these events, you can do the aggregate ID is an ID that maps the current event to the aggregate. So in this case, we have 3 events. And all these 3 events for this user will have the exact same aggregate ID, which identifies the user in this case, but each individual event will identify each individual event. So the event IDs will be different. Something cool about this is basically you can get some statistics. You can write a report. Let's imagine your boss comes to you and they are like, can you give me all the users that changed their name between June and August of this year? Then you can basically write a report, run all these events through the system, and you get the report as if it was like generated 10 years ago or whenever you started writing these logs. If you don't use event sourcing and you don't have some form of history or something, if you want the same idea of that report, what you will have to do is basically write a report to verify when something changes, and then let it run, and then you can only... Sorry about that. And then you can only get like from now until later. What if you have multiple tables? Isn't this missing some kind of entity type like user product? Sort of. That's basically what the aggregate ID is for. So we are just storing events in here. Is there a way that I can showcase this without leaking actual data? So it's not going to be necessary. So your event name is going to be important and your aggregate ID is going to be important. There's no real user or product or whatever linked. That's going to be in code. So for getting a user, I have to get all the events related to him, her based on the aggregate ID and then combine it into the current object. Yeah, that's basically the idea. You can simplify this by projecting all the events whenever they happen to like, let me quickly do something. Hold on. I'm going to look into my previous database just to see if I can showcase something without leaking data. This is pretty empty. This is okay. Oh, this is not okay. This is not okay to show. Event system event store, this one. Client has been added. Nope, I can't show you this. I can't show you this either. Oh well. But if the user changes her name 100 times and then forgetting just the user entry is going to 1,000 changes is basically nothing. But yeah, you can project. I'm not gonna show this, but you can project your events into a database that is normalized, and then you can just read from there. And your puts indeed will happen every time you do a put. It will get all the events that exist for that aggregate. It will apply the events again, put your new event on top with like a new change, and then persist it again. If that becomes an issue, which rarely is an issue, but if it is an issue, what you can do is you can apply this concept of snapshotting. So what you do is you take like 100,000 events, squash them into current state, and then you start from there. So once you hit like this 100k limits, then you will apply new events on top, and then you have like one big squashed event, and then you can apply the rest on top. And thank you for the subscription, Karsten. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Can I migrate this thing somehow? Because that would be a dope. Is this create table still correct? I think it sort of is. So we have an up method, a down method. Is there like a programmatically API for this? So you don't have different tables. That makes no. So you have like one big single event. Oh, this is another cool thing actually. Remember, like in a lot of projects, you have like a single MySQL, single Postgres database. So what you do here is basically have one MySQL table with events, but then your projections can be like very specific to each event. So let's imagine that you want to have a list of all your users and their connections. Then you can project your all your events into like a graph database, like Neo4j. If you have like a lot of orders and stuff, you can project those to like a special search database like Elasticsearch. If you want to keep track of something specific for a dashboard, you can project that into like Redis database, key value store. And then the nice part about that is that your event store is the single source of truth, and all the projections are just derivatives that make it easier to read from. And with the added benefit, which doesn't happen a lot, but with the added benefit that you can basically blow those projections up, you can destroy them and just rebuild them from scratch, which is pretty cool. Installation node browser. Why would you do like browser connection with Next? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. TypeScript query builder. Is there migrate? Knex migrate. Okay, can I do Knex? Failed to load external module TypeScript register. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so I have a Knex file and I have migrations in my domain. Oh, I need to move this. Thanks for the follow, PV. I hope it's not a French name, but thank you for the follow, PV Dane. If it's the French version, then I'm not going to try and pronounce it. We want to move this into DB. Yes. DB migrations event store. Cool. Let me do this and fix this. Does that make sense what event sourcing is about? I'm not really good at explaining stuff, so maybe I can draw something next if it's not clear. Recorded that. Thanks for the follow, hates LGG. Hello, how are you doing? Knex failed to load. Knex migrate. Oh boy, this is a lot of stuff. New faster version of Next.js just came out. Do you mean 10.2? This one I'm already on. Draw a straight line. Should I draw a straight line? Okay, Ziggy, I will draw a straight line. Hold on. Let me draw a straight line for you. I think I can do this. Yes. Let me take like a ruler. Yes. There you go. Here's a straight line for you. What do you think about the straight line? There you go. If that's what exactly. Didn't expect an iPad screen, right? Let me get back into my Twitch screen. All right. I have a feeling that I can't migrate from without compiling Knex first or installing like a bajillion packages. Yeah, 10.2 is pretty nice. I'm using that one and I'm pretty happy with it. I think there is an API for this, so let me abuse APIs of Next and say something like what do we call this? Test.ts. And I think we can export something like export default request return res.json. Nice. And then I think we can type this as next requests. There we go. And this as next API response. Okay, cool. What's your opinion on Tailwind? I know that you are using it here, but what you... I work with Tailwind, so I might be biased. Why not Bootstrap? Bootstrap is fine if you want Bootstrap. What I like about Tailwind is I don't get like a bunch of components. I just get like utilities with a config that is fully configurable and has great defaults and has a consistent spacing scale and nice colors. And I just get a bunch of tokens. I can create my own React components, reuse all of that, never have to worry about bundle size, all that kind of great stuff. Sold. And it's fast. It's fast. It's good. It's good. But yeah, I might be biased. But it's good. Yes. Is there not... okay, this is what I wanted to do, like connects. And then I wanted to do something like import configs from database connection. What are these connections about? What is this music? And just press, which is, yep, that is very true. I don't have connection. Connection name. Okay, I see what's going on. Connections, and I think what I want to do is connection of connections.eventStore. I should see something once I go to let me do this quickly. I want to open my API client, but I'm not sure if I have something open that I should not show. So let me create a new project here, do this. Okay, I'm good. So HTTPS, nope, localhost 1234 API test. Oh bueno, I get a bunch of stuff in here. Sorry about that. Okay, we have everything in here that we need, I think. Tailwind CSS is also good to learn CSS. The documentation is awesome. The documentation is pretty dope. That's very true. We put a lot of effort in our documentation. So I have a connection. And then I think there is this API called migrate. Is this migrate or is this a function? Latest. Okay, cool. Await. A sync. It's a sync and it's await. Will this work? Apparently not. No such file or directory. Scan their invoice space domain db migrations event store. No such file or directory. Invoice space domain db migrations event store. db. Oh, I see. I see what's going on. That's funny actually. Move. I had these folders flipped around. Okay. Test. Let's do this again. Error. Client does not support authentication protocol request server. Consider upgrading MySQL client. What? Oh. Hey Robin, weird question. For the job I'm currently applying to, I need a personal website. I'm very bad to come up with creative ideas, so I was thinking to recreate your personal website and wrap it in Windows C# theme because I really like yours. I will even create you. I don't care. Do what you want. Client does not support authentication protocol. That's interesting. Connects file. Oh, is this just because this is not filled in? Yeah, that might be the case. Can we add a .env file? Yes. And then let me steal my env file from here. I think I can just open it. Oh yeah. Let's go in here, paste it. And now this is a very important step. Yarn, restart the server. Otherwise your environment variables will not be updated. 69 viewers. Nice. Compiling. Okay, server error. Cannot use import statement outside of module. This is sad. That's sad. Nice. Why not Prisma? Good question. I don't want to use Prisma. Is Prisma the GraphQL thingy? Never played with Prisma. I think what I want to do is something very annoying-ish. But I might want to, for now, use JS. Wait, what? Module.exports. Is Prisma like the database layer or also like a GraphQL thingy? Because if it's also GraphQL thingy, then I don't want it. Especially not for the event store. Maybe for one of the projections, that could be cool. It's an ORM. Oh, I don't want to work with an ORM. No, thank you. Exports. I don't like ORMs that often. And you can code your design very fast. Yeah, I'm not going the fast route. I'm going the big brains route. I have a different architecture, so it will be different. It did error again, I think. Module not found. Meetings, meetings, meetings. You mean type safe? Oh, okay. Prisma runs a Rust binary. Interesting. Wait, what is going on here now? Maybe I'll look at it. Prisma, need person Prisma. Oh yeah, that's something I don't want. Well, I maybe want it for my projections, but not for my event store. Module not found. Create events table. Cannot find module. You create event. Okay. It's gonna be up event store. Up migrations. Up. DB. Event store. Utils. That's a very long path. Give me something green. Create table is not a function. Create table is not a function. Are you sure? Am I just doing like a module export thingy? I think exports is a mutable object, so that should be fine. Can also property create table of undefined. Module.exports. How does JavaScript even work? Hello, how are you doing? Oh, thanks for the follow, Vito Revelino. What's your go-to backend stack? I haven't been doing like backend. It's been a while since I did it. It depends on what you mean for backends, because I've done some Next.js with simple backends. So basically just like reading MDX files from disk, stuff like that. What are your thoughts on Tailwind? I'm anti-Tailwind. Oh, good for you. Do I have an event store now? I have an event store with a few tables. Okay, that's good. That's good. So now what I want to do is just plain API routes. Yeah. This is the generate PDF one. This now basically made my connection, and I migrated everything. Oh, you know what I can do? This is big brain. I can make this migrate.ts. And then I can say migrated true. I'm not going to push this into production. So this should give me migrate. True. That's nice. Okay, I still have this table. Good. And now I want to set up my store. Oh, I have this set up already. This is not my store. This is my adapter. So events, store adapters. How did I do it in this project? Create MySQL event store. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. I wanted this. Which API tester are you using? I'm using PAW. P-A-W. You can find it on my uses page if you want to. Let's move this into event source adapters and then create MySQL store. And let's add store.ts. But yeah, I think it's Mac only, but it's pretty nice. It's like native and stuff, so it's not like Postman or what is the other one? There's another one that's all Electron based. They are fine, but my CPU doesn't like it and my RAM doesn't like that either. So create MySQL event store. So that's gonna be event source adapter creates MySQL. My connection is coming from DB. It's gonna be from database connection. Okay, good. And then this is stuff we have to fill in ourselves. I started using Thunder Client. It's built into VS Code. Pretty neat. Never heard of that one. I have a const in here. Let's move it to store. Okay, good. Okay, so basically how things happen in this system is you have commands. They are okay, so domain add, I want an invoice, invoice.ts, and I think this is just gonna be like a class invoice, which extends from I think it's gonna extend from aggregates. Yep. And then we will have some use cases. Did I call them use cases in here as well, or did I call them something else? Invoices, use cases, create an invoice, send an invoice. I have some stuff in here, which is nice. Create an invoice. Oh, these are my tests. Oh, these are fun to test as well. I hope I don't have real data in here. No, it's fine. Okay. So these tests in an event source system are pretty nice. So what you can do is basically you set up your store and all your handlers and whatever your system is, and then you say given these events, which is nothing, when I initialize an invoice, then I expect that an invoice has been initialized, event has been created. Same for line items. Given we have an initialized invoice, when I add an invoice line item or invoice line, then I expect that it has been added. And then you can basically also say, do I have one where it's errors? Oh yeah, here. So given we have an invoice, we added line items and it's paid. When we send the invoice, then we expect an error that we cannot send the invoice because it has already been paid, which is pretty cool. If you use a JS framework, you can easily generate components and extract out most of it. It just mainly it makes my HTML messy and how it's hard. Okay, just got here and you use a Windows manager. Do get a yeah. I'm using Amethyst, so use this thing. Okay, so I have invoices, invoice.ts. Okay, we can, I think I know enough about this stuff. Yeah, let's see. We have an invoice. Initialize invoice.ts. Import stuff from my event source package. Events, event handler. And the nice part is we have to separate our events and our handlers so that the events and commands can be serialized into JSON. Event export function, initialize invoice, return an event. Thanks for the follow, El Drugo, welcome. Initialize invoice, that's nice. An aggregate ID. I think I'm going to pass this through. Yeah. It's gonna be a string. And then we have a payload of some stuff. And then we don't care about this thing yet. We will also have oh, this is not our event, of course. This is our command. Command. And we need the command handler. Export function. Handle. Initialize event. How is this structure again? I think we can do something like return es, and we have to import this from, not from date functions, but event store. How do I get access to this again? Oh, that's right. Okay. Just going to copy this. Export at invoice line handler. Nope, it's gonna be initialize invoice handler. It's async. This is coming from here. Event store load persist. I don't think I have this published. Load persists. New invoice. Where is invoice coming from? It's coming from here. That's our aggregate. And what we will do is invoice ID. Sure. I think this can be our aggregate ID if you want to. Why don't I get event source? Wow, okay. Event source, that's the one I want. es.load persists, load and persists. There is nothing to load yet. So we will create an invoice, which is a new invoice. And then we say invoice dot. Can we make this static? That might be nicer. Initialize. Yep, that's good as a method. And then once we initialize it, we want to persist it. es.persist our invoice. Nice. Okay, good. Expected 2 arguments, but got 3. Oh, there is no aggregate in here, right? Our invoice, let me import that one from here. Declare static method initialize. Yes, thank you very much. And then basically what I want to say is I get stuff from here, which is gonna be the invoice ID, which is gonna be a string. And then we basically say invoice is gonna be a new invoice because we have static methods. And then what we will say is this dot, is it apply? I think it's apply. No, it's called, what is it called again? Record stats, record. I think it's this. It's an apply an event, replay events, record that. Okay. Record that, yes. And then what do we want to record? Invoice has been initialized with the invoice ID. And basically we don't have this. We have an invoice and we return the invoice because it's a static method. Now we need to get the invoice has been initialized from somewhere. And that's gonna be in, let's put it in here for now. Export function, this thing. I might want to separate them, but it's fine for now. Initialize invoice has been initialized. What a hard word, dang. And what we will get as an event is basically event name, aggregate ID, and payload. Sure. Aggregate ID is gonna be aggregate ID, and then we have a payload of invoice ID, which is in this case just the aggregate ID, and then we say string, yes, initialize with command dot payload dot invoice ID. And before the Vim people attack you, you need to set up vimrc. Oh, I have dot files. I think I can do this in one go. Yeah. Let's do it like this. So we have a command. When this command gets handled, we will make sure to initialize it, and then we will make sure that this is persisted. Now we have to set it up in here. So basically we say, basically this, initialize event handler, import. We don't care about our projectors yet, which is nice because this also means that we can just get our system ready, record some events, and then work on the projections later because we will already have the data. Which is cool. Let me clean those up for now. We do have like a log projector already. Thank you for the follow, the consultant Joe. Thank you. So now we have our store, and basically what I want to do now is I want an API route. Let's do some organization here. So this is migrate. Let's create a group. Database, migrate, okay. And new group, invoices, new requests, localhost 1234 API, and then shall we do a REST approach like invoices? I think that's fine. And then we get a post. create invoice. This will obviously error. Yep, that's good. Where are you? Here you are. API invoices. I just joined. Is it it's available on npm, but I don't think my code is open source. Index.ts. Basically, what I want to do here is export async. It's a default function. Welcome, by the way. Request is gonna be a next API request. And our response is gonna be a next API response. Yes, yes, yes. And then what we want to do is basically get our store. Where is our store coming from? Okay. Store dot dispatch command. And what else do we want to do? Let's return our request dot body for now, just to see what we get. And if only I knew how to JavaScript, then I would know that I have to put arrows in here. Any recommendations about the event sourcing topic to read into the videos from Spatie? Videos from Spatie, I haven't watched them, but I'm assuming they are pretty good. There is some interesting topics. Where can you find those? Let me think. There's this dude called Greg Young, with a lot of interesting resources about event sourcing. You have my Martin Fowler has interesting resources about event sourcing. Yeah, there's a few nice things. If you look on YouTube for Greg Young, you will get some interesting talks about what it is and that kind of stuff. Did not expect a type annotation here. You did. Okay. When we create our invoice, it would be good if I did something like response.json reg.body. Dismiss, refresh, stop and send. Okay, nothing here. Okay. Okay, so I get nothing in the body, which makes sense. Are you using DDD? Yeah, it's sort of DDD, like the whole event sourcing and CQRS, like command query, responsibility segregation. It's all DDD related. So that's one of the reasons. So DDD is a domain-driven design, and instead of thinking about like the classic CRUD, like create, read, update, delete, you think in domain terms. So that's one of the reasons why I say initialize invoice, and then the invoice has been initialized, and it's not like create invoice and create user and update user, and it's more about the domain language and the intent. Like if you think about it, when you have an invoice, thanks for the follow Harry limit. If you have an invoice and you want to send the invoice, or you want to pay the invoice, or you want to what else can you do? Close the invoice. Those are all different intents, and if you model them as like these separate things, it means that you can basically keep that in mind when creating, when you talk about it, when you create like specific dashboards for them, like how many have been deleted and stuff. If you just use like CRUD, then it's basically all a put or a patch, where you say like, oh, sending is like updating some field, or drafting is updating some fields. So it's more like the domain language, which is important in here. Okay, so now we have our body. I don't require a body for now. So what I will do instead is do something like store.dispatch. And what do I want to do? Initialize invoice. And I want an aggregate ID, which is going to be a UUID. I don't want to install a UUID package because it's now native in Node 16, I think. So what you can do is import from, I think it's crypto. And I think it's something called generate Diffie Hellman. No, that's not the one. Create. Where is it? Star as crypto. Crypto dot UUID v4. Oh, I think I don't think the types exist yet. And I'm on Node 15 as well. So let me quickly use, maybe it's in 15 already, but let me quickly check to 16. I didn't know UID was built in. Yeah, it's built in already. So crypto dot random UID. There it is. Look at me creating UUIDs. Random UUID. Random UUID. And it's based on the version 4 specification, which is pretty cool. So when we dispatch this thing, I think it's synchronous. Oh no, it's async because it can throw and stuff. So let's await this thing. I don't know what the response of this thing is, so let me just put it in here. I'm not sure if it's going to return anything response. See how my thing is like, well, it doesn't exist yet. Well, it will exist. So if everything goes right, I should see a log of this new event. Invoice has been initialized, is not defined. That's interesting. Initialize, invoice has been initialized. Oh, we have to import it here. Okay, let's do that again. Grid invoice has no method. Invoice has been initialized. That's very true. That's very true. So this part is important. Basically what this is saying is whenever you want to update something in your current aggregates, you can't do it in all these methods, but instead you do it in these apply methods. And these are also called, hello Jason, how are you doing? And thanks for the follow, Paul, Chris, Luke. So you do your updates to your event. So let me do this. Private ID is going to be a string. And then in here I can say this.id is going to be event. And the event is going to be whatever the return type is of invoice has been initialized. Payload invoice ID. And the reason for this is in these methods you can throw, in these methods you can't throw, and that's because if you have like events from 10 years ago, then you don't want them to throw or your system will go kaputski. You don't want your system to go kaputski. Oh, thanks for the Thanks for the raid, Paul. How are you all doing? Let me quickly close my window because there's some noise out there. All right, I'm back. How are you doing? What were you working on, Paul? I'll talk to you so many times on Discord before you worked at Tailwind. $devco. Oh. I don't want to dox you. I probably talked to you, but I don't recognize this username. Do you have like another username? Call me Rex. Call me Red. Ooh. Yep, I remember. Yep. I remember. And I didn't know I streamed either. Hello, we love Tailwind, and next we were working on an invoicing system for... I am working on an invoicing system in Next and Tailwind, and I'm currently setting up my backend. Let me see. Let me see. Also, let's do a shout out to Paul Chris-Luke. The connection is private. Ooh. Visit this page. Visit website. Wait, what is going on? Oh, this is something fun. I actually, this is a funny trick. Let's open Brave for a second. And if you are in this window and you literally type "this is fine" or "this is okay," this is fine, there's like this command that you can type, and then it's like, okay, all good. Ooh, this is bright. Microblading tutorials. Ooh, cool. Wrong URL. Okay. I got confused there for a second. Oh, this looks more modern. Okay, I see some nice stuff in here. Well done, well done. This is unsafe. That's the one. That's the one. Can I go back? Pro tricks. Copy. This is unsafe. This is unsafe. It doesn't do it. Oh, it's Safari. Yeah, Safari is like, nah. Yep, and Brave. Field version doesn't have a default value. Oh. The version should be incremented. Version, not nullable. Can I default to... How does one default? I think this should generate it, right? This should generate it. Let's go into our initialize. Log the event, because I'm fairly sure we should have something interesting in here. Only works, you're on Safari. I know. I switched browsers again. Oh, thanks for the sub, $devco. So $dev is helping with iOS integration, but saloon owners need to invoice for $600 appointments. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I'm working on this event sourcing invoice app. Currently we have some designs Like this is like a quote unquote dark mode friendly version. This is of course not like real, but it's just nicer for on streams and stuff. And basically what we do is we have invoice data and rows, and the nicest part about this is that your pages are basically split up based on the amount of room left. So notice that we have like multi-line. Holy bananas. Holy bananas. Thanks for the 10 gift subs. Holy damn. What is going on? What is going on? Okay. You didn't have to do it, but thank you very much. Let's see. Who joined? So thank you for the tier 1 sub and Stranged HD and Preston Coates and Ayo Damiano and Sratkes and Felipe Fontana and Michael Deboy and Badosh and G-Dorp and Scalamando and Creative Null. Whew. Would you be interested in making an invoicing system for dental appointments? Oh yeah, I love my dentist. I'm basically just focusing on my own invoice system. So let me quickly. Okay, it's getting a bit crowded in here. But I have. Is it in my index? Yeah. This is my actual design that I use. And do your refresh thingies. Thank you very much, $Devco. Let's do a quick shout out to $Devco. Thank you very much for all the gift subs. Where's my, is this not saved? Okay, so this is my actual invoice. It's pretty wide, but the line items have different heights based on the content, so we don't really know about how many there are and how large they are. So we measure how much room there is left, and then we can split it up. And the cool part is that we can change the design based on how many pages there are. So we have our big heading on page 1. If we have multiple pages, then we have like a subtotal on this page and like a small footer. If we have multiple pages, then everything but the first one has like a small header and a small footer. So this page is like pretty filled now. And then the last page has like a very big subtotal with all the VAT stuff and the big footer. So if we go into our fixtures for development and change our amount of random items to 2, then you will notice that everything fits on one page. So now we don't have like the small footer, we have only we have a big footer and not small footers, and we have like big like all the totals instead of just the subtotal on this page. Basically our Dentec CMS system FTPs better data of patients data, how much they owe, and it emails them an email to pay online. Is that something you could help with? Currently not really. Like I'm pretty busy at my day job. I might open source this system. I might make it like a SaaS, but I'm currently not really interested in making it like very how do you call it? Like a very big SaaS or something. Just something easy for myself, and then being able to edit stuff and preview stuff. But I don't think I can help with that. I gotta go. I'll be back soon. Good luck with your team. Thank you very much, $Devco. Thank you. His salary is public. I know what he gets paid by his day job. Is my salary public? I hope not. I don't think so. Well, there is something public. That's true. Oh, hi Jason again. Oh yeah, the job application, that's public indeed. That's public indeed. Something like that could be correct, could be wrong, maybe. So what is happening here? The invoice number is missing. The invoice number, the version number is missing. So let me recreate this invoice. And it looks like aggregate ID, event name, payload, and recorded ads. Where is my version though? Oh, hello Trenty Code, how are you doing? How are you doing, sir? Oh, did I dox you? Ik sta met een dappere. Let's see, this is not real data, right? Sort of is real data, sort of isn't. Okay, good. Got scared there for a second. Going strong, let's go. Where is my invoice domain? Here it is. I would have expected this event to have a version. Oh, is that happening in my record? That step? Let's see. I think I have to go into my MySQL thingy, and there is a version in here. Oh, there is no version in here. I just missed it. Did I? Oh, okay. Version. That's pretty stupid, but version, and then in here we have a version. Which is gonna be a number. What do you use to jump around in TS files? What do you mean exactly? Like, I'm using like Control D to go down, Control up to go up. I use what is this called? Square bracket G to go to errors, and from method call to its definition. Oh, so for example, when you have parse in here, I do GD to jump to definition. Yeah, it's COC indeed. It's what is this about? It's not assignable to type, event type. Oh, this event type is where is event type coming from? That's interesting that it doesn't have. I should fix that. But let me quickly do version number here, just to make TypeScript happy. Yep. I want to go to like nvim LSP, but so afraid. Okay. So now we initialized our invoice, we have our log projector which just logs everything, and now you can see we have an aggregate ID, which is the ID for this invoice. We have an event ID which uniquely identifies this event, an event name which we can use to map to business logic. nvim LSP is good. Yeah, I should switch to it. And we should also have it in our database now. And we do. Now it's in our database. Let's create another one. Okay. That's good. Now, the only stupid thing is that it doesn't contain like any actual interesting data. So maybe that's something we want to add as well. So let's go to our invoice. How long have I been streaming? 2 hours and 30 minutes? It's almost, wait, what time is it? 9:57. Okay, Okay, I can go on just a little bit more. Maybe let's add some more info to this initialize invoice thingy, and maybe one more event just so that I can showcase how everything is linked together. And thanks for the follow, PMAJ. If I think I missed a few already, I think. Oh, I think I'm good. Think I'm good. Okay. Thanks for the follow, Astrolove. Love. Hi from France. Bonjour. Comment ça va? Oui, oui. I'm sorry. I should not be allowed on the internet at this time of the day. Not bad, not bad. I'm from Belgium, so I know how to pronounce French stuff. I got to jump into a meeting. See ya. Enjoy your meeting. Laters. Okay, so what do we add to our invoice that is useful? An issue date. Let's hard code it to this thing. Let's say new like due date. Client is gonna be something. Oh, this is also a funny thing with event sourcing, since, or not event sourcing itself, but the way I store data as a JSON payload, so I don't need to update my schema all the time. We have client issue date. What else do we need? I think I could get an invoice number if we want to hard code it, like invoice number, inv 2020-01. I think those are the most important parts. Invoice has been initialized. So one thing we can do here is we can pass through everything from the command itself or the payload to this initialize method. And one thing we can do is, let's see, how are we going to do this that it's in a useful way? Oh, thanks for the follow, Tefza. I've seen you around on Discord. Sorry about that. I think I can hack around this to, I want to get this data basically. But if I look at this, you will notice that we can infer this information. So basically what I want to do is data. It's sort of not a good idea. Maybe it is. Initialize invoice to get them linked together like this, but oh well. So this will get me a command type, and now I can basically say data.payload. So I want the payloads, which is going to be everything. And in here we can get the data out again, which is going to be type of initialize invoice and payload. An amethyst user. I am an amethyst user. Is the source code for this project on GitHub? It's currently not open source. It's been a while indeed. Is there something wrong with being an amethyst user? Should I use something else? Should I do something else? I can basically spread my data in here. Spread my data. So when I remove these and now create a new one, we have more information. Oh yeah, basically we are returning. Can I zoom this in? Oh yeah, let's go. We are basically returning the commands payload. Amethyst plus Alacrity plus Neovim. This is Linux with extra steps. Starting a software company. I technically already have a software company. I just like using Mac. I'm sorry. Oh, don't forget about this part, my Tmux. Recently had to switch to iOS because of my employer and was looking for a tiling window manager. Seeing Amethyst in action is great to use. Yeah, it's amazing. The only annoying part is that while streaming, everything is pretty zoomed in, so even 3 windows don't fit in here. Normally, like I'm on a 27-inch 5K screen, and basically normally I can fit like 10 of those, but now I can barely fit 3. Okay, so this payload is getting more interesting now because now it contains actual information, which is nice. And now let's do one step further. Let's go one step further, and let's do something like add line item, add invoice item.ts. And basically what we will do is we copy all of this, we paste all of this, and we say add invoice item. We need an aggregate ID. Add invoice item. Mac is good good UI with BSD underbelly. Luckily I'm not a streamer. I wasn't a streamer until 2 weeks ago or something. Add invoice item. So we need an invoice item, which is gonna be, thanks for the follow, Waffly Zor. What do we need? Description, quantity, VAT, price. That sounds about right. Description, string. Oh, shall I hardcode them for now? Yeah, I'm gonna hardcode it for now. Quantity, I think I called it units. Number 12, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, sure, this is fine. VAT, let's say 18%. Price, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do you increase the invoice number if it is a car? I don't have to do it automatically. However, I worked on this cool thing, and maybe I can talk about this in another stream or something, how I did it. But when I have this invoice number, which can be like a number, and when I press arrow up, it will increase and decrease. But if you have like a string, 2020 001, I also can go up and go down, which was fun to build. What's that event source package? It's my own package. Like a very small wrapper, or not a wrapper, but it's like a very simple implementation of event sourcing, where basically you have some commands, command handlers. Black magic is what it is. It is black magic very much indeed. Just a few things like an event store, and you can load events and persist events and dispatch commands. I think this is good. Add invoice item. Yes. Then add invoice item handler. We get an add invoice item. And now what we want to do is, I have okay, let's do it in 2 steps first. So what we will do is we need to get our invoice, and we can do this by awaiting es.load, and to load we need an aggregate, which is going to be our new invoice, because we will recompute the state. Hey Robin, is there a nice way to add the left margin to a list? ML4 should do the trick. List disk list inside, but I don't want the bullet point. Yeah, just do margin left, that should be good, or padding left. So we need an aggregate, which is it's gonna be our invoice. And then we also need our aggregate ID, which we can get from commands, payload, invoice ID. Then what we want to do is we basically say invoice dot, which is gonna be an instance of our invoice, add invoice item. Let's say add item, and add item is gonna be, let's say, command.payload dot, just the payload. I'm gonna be lazy. And then what we want to do is return es.persist, because now we want to persist all of the events of the invoice. But one thing I noticed is that I do these steps a lot. So basically what I do now is es.load persists, and it does this sort of the same thing. But now I do a new invoice. I get an aggregate, payload, invoice ID, and then I get my invoice in here where I do this thing. And then I can skip a few steps. Now add item doesn't exist, which makes sense. Invoice item has been added. This is gonna be from the payload again. So that's gonna be add invoice item. And this one is gonna be invoice item has been added with invoice ID and all of this stuff. Okay, cool, that's cool. Add item, let's go to our invoice. Now it's just gonna be add item. And what we will do is basically private items. It's gonna be an array of things with a description of string, units of number, VAT of number, price of number. Okay, that's good enough. And now what I want to do is this dot record that invoice item has been added, and let's import this one. And what does it require? If I can type, it requires aggregate ID and data. So this is going to be this ID, and data is going to be just a pass-through. So data is going to be the return type of invoice item, add invoice item in this case. And this is going to be payload. And now I need to match this one. So invoice item has been added. Whew, we are almost getting there. Almost there. And now basically what I want to do is this items.push. Now I can safely mutate event.payload. And I think that's about it. Okay. So now I want to new requests, localhost API, invoices. I'm not sure if I want to go the fully REST way of doing things. So let me just do something like add invoice item. And let's make it a post. Okay. And then in our pages, if I do it like invoices and then the invoice ID coming from here, I think I can copy this thing, paste it in here. Can't I reference this? Oh. Yes, and then we can say add add item. Then I can say ID, and then add item.ts. Let's get this. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea either. I will. Okay, so basically what's going on is now I want to add an item to my invoice. So I create a new route. And the route is gonna be invoices ID add item. And then what I want to do is add invoice item. What is this weird stuff? Add invoice item. Okay. And what will this require? It will require an aggregate ID, which is gonna be request params.id. I'm just going to guess. Internal server error. Cannot read properly ID of undefined. How does one get the ID in an API route? Is that not how you do it for API routes, dynamic API routes? Let's see, can we get information about our params? Where are we? I can see it in here. Oh, it's not params as query params. I think it's gonna be segments or something. I think it's gonna be okay. Next.js documentation API. Is there a dark mode on here? No. Query. Is it just like this? That's a weird name. Yeah, that's. I would have expected that query was like a query param, like after the question mark. But this sort of makes sense, I guess. Remove this. rec.query.id. No need for this. Okay. Error. Oh. There is no command handler found for add invoice item. That makes sense. Yeah, thank you, Karsten Pet. So let's go to our store. And what we have to do is initialize invoices add invoice item is add invoice item handler. And let me clear this thing. Let me make sure to import this thing. So now this is set up. Okay, so now this is working. And this is the interesting part where now we have version 1 of this invoice. So if I look back, oh, there's been a lot of crap. Let me clean everything. Let me create an invoice. So let's create an invoice. We have an invoice with invoice number 2020-01. We want to add a line item. And this is linked to the same one. This is like hard-coded data. We can add another one, another one, another one, another one. And if we now look in the database, what you will notice is there is an event ID that's unique for each event. there is an event name that we can use to, once we know, we can basically do a switch statement based on the event name, and then we can know what the properties are in the payload based on this name. Then we have an aggregate ID. This aggregate ID is the same for every one of those. And the reason that it's the same for every one of those is because it's linked to the same aggregate, because we linked it in the URL with the same identifier. Since it's the same aggregate ID, we increase the version, so we know that now 5 updates have been happened. And the nice part about this is that now we basically have these were add line items one by one on different times, but you can also do them in bulk. But now at least we know that information. Thanks for the follow, Kenrick. Aggregate ID is currently the invoice ID, that's correct. It's a very, how do you call it, generic name for now, just because this is like a generic box where we just save all our events regardless of what the actual aggregate is. But this aggregate ID indeed tells us that this is like what this is referring to, and then the version number, and then when it's recorded. Now, if we create like a new invoice, and then we create like line items for those, then you will notice that we now have like a new one. So this is a new one, new aggregate ID, version 0, and these will increase for this one. Now, if we want to go back to this one, is the payload the delta of the invoice or the entire invoice? You can basically choose. The full payload is sometimes called fatty events. But in this case, it's basically not really a delta. Well, yeah, it sort of is a delta, yeah. Because this currently contains like invoice items. It doesn't contain information about the invoice itself, like the client and the issue date. So it's sort of the delta indeed. So if we now want to go back and add a line item to this aggregate ID, what I will do is basically drop this thing for now, add a new line item. And what you will notice now is that we have a new one. This is linked to the one up here, technically. And now the version has increased based on the last one. So the last one was 5, the new one is 6, and now we have 2 aggregates in here. And another cool part is that we don't have a UI yet. We don't know what kind of reports our bosses will ask. So this is interesting because now we can just model our data, and then once we are ready for a UI, we can build it on top of it. So currently what I'm building is I'm building a small invoicing system, and sorry for the light mode, an invoicing system where basically I create invoices that I can send to clients that are like nicely generated with React and Tailwind, generated PDF from them. But one thing that is nice is that I can, with event sourcing, I can encode intent and domain logic and build state machines in. So what I can do is I can create an invoice, set the state to draft, add some items. When I'm ready, I mark it as ready, set it as a due date, automatically send an email. Once the email has sent, a new event will be stored, which will say invoice has been sent, and from now on you can't edit it anymore, or maybe you can, that kind of stuff. Is this the column layout in Amethyst? I'm using the tall layout. I don't really, where is column? Yeah, I'm using tall layout a lot. So you have like one main screen and all the others are on the right, but you can also move others to the main section with, what is this called? Shift Option, less than bracket and greater than bracket. But yeah, I'm mostly using the tall layout. So yeah, now we have our invoices stored. I think I'm going to tinker with the actual payloads to see what we should put in here, and then maybe write a nice UI for it, but that will be for next time. It's almost been 3 hours so far, so I'm going to call it a day, and let's find somebody to raid. Who shall we raid? Shall we raid Mew? Shall we raid CM Griffin? I think... Thanks for the follow, Kisitnagion. I'm so sorry for butchering your name. Thank you for watching. I think I'm going to rate Mew. She's doing Tailwind UI. I see some Tailwind, so let's do it. Rate Mew. Let's go. All right. Thank you, everybody. I will find some more days to stream. Maybe this week. Oh, it's almost the end of the week. Probably this weekend. Yeah, I will keep you all notified on Twitter and stuff. Also, make sure to join the Discord. Very important. And whenever I have interesting projects, I will stream them. I will do my thing. All right. Thank you, everybody, and see you in the next stream.